Hi guys, and welcome back to OSU Sports Management YouTube channel. My name is Emma and I'm here with Nina Farro, class of 2015, who now works at the University of Florida, and in October had a promotion, who works now as a, let me remember, assistant director for the membership services. So hello, thank you for joining me today. How are you?
I'm doing well, Emma. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I feel like I kind of got that bit done, which is really good. So let's go straight into it. So can you give us a description of your career journey and some of the responsibilities that you currently hold in your role?
For sure. So I went back to college as a non-traditional transfer student. I had a career as a professional ballet dancer, and I had a career-ending injury. And with the support of my family, went back to school and found recreational sports through my undergrad, which was the University of Florida. I loved it. I loved working there, and found that I could start a career in the field of collegiate recreation. So I pursued a master's degree at Ohio State, and I served as a graduate administrative associate there with recreational sports in membership services. So I've been working in membership services for about 7 years now. And from there, in 2015, I moved out west to Washington State University for my first position as a professional in membership services, and then came back to the University of Florida in January of 2017, and I've been here ever since. So started as a coordinator, and in October, like you mentioned, was promoted to assistant director.
Oh, awesome. And so with regard to the role that you have now, can you think of any challenges that you have, and also what you enjoy most about your role?
Sure. So is this everyday challenges or specific to the COVID-19 situation?
We can do both. We can start off with everyday challenges and then we can go specifically into the good old COVID.
Yeah, sure. So the first challenge for me was that I inherited this role as the software liaison for the department. So prior to starting back at UF, I would not call myself an IT person, have no computer science background, but the person who preceded me had gotten the department integrated with the software, and so was the primary responsible person for this role. So when she vacated the position, I took it up. So I had to learn very quickly, lots of trial and error, lots of phone calls to the support staff with the software company to really just become a Fusion expert. Some of my coworkers are really funny and they call me the Fusion Queen now. So I tried to learn as much as I could, and through practice in about 3 years, I feel pretty comfortable with it now. So that was a big challenge for me. With the COVID unique season that we're in, the biggest challenge is just maintaining an excellent level of customer service, while also protecting an auxiliary budget. So our department is supported by student activity and services fees primarily, but the membership services program area is responsible for revenue generation to our auxiliary fund. So those funds make special programming possible. Some of our salaries are paid out of that fund. So it's important to protect it as much as possible during this time.
Definitely, yeah.
And you can imagine that we have had numerous requests for refunds. And so we're trying to maintain our membership base, provide excellent service without quote unquote giving away the treadmill. So that's been the biggest challenge right now. And that can look very different depending on the customer you're working with. But for the most part, meeting it with empathy and just a human touch, a human eye, and like really emphasizing the putting yourself in the customer's shoes. There's a lot of unique challenges for everyone during this time, so we can't rely on the black and white policies right now. So it's taking a lot of flexibility.
And I think as well, because this has never happened or never happened to this scale, there's not like a booklet of like what to do and what not to do. It's
Right.
kind of always changing.
Yeah, I feel like we will be able to write something after this. I'm hopeful that our annual conference at NERSA, which is the Leaders in Collegiate Recreation, I'm really hoping that a year from now we'll be able to attend sessions and hear from our peer institutions and colleagues about how they've managed all of this. And I will say, like, it has been a tremendous help to have the support of that organization, because we've been on calls weekly. There have been roundtables. Our annual conference was canceled this year, but we still held it virtually. And just being able to talk to other people and hear out the ideas that they were throwing around of how they could open their facilities and continue to run, I think is a really big part of the success that we've seen. So
that's
we definitely
really good.
owe it to others.
So you said that you owe it to others. So who else has influenced you personally with your career, and how?
Ooh, great question. So I've had some really wonderful supervisors along the way. When I was an undergrad, my supervisor at Rec Sports was Craig Decker. He's now the director at University of Alabama, Birmingham. He's just been a phenomenal role model and mentor. He has graciously taken at least once a month for the last 7 years to talk to me. And it's,
really nice.
Everything under the sun: professional development, leadership. He is not a membership services professional or comes from membership services, but he's been really helpful in just like figuring all of this out. He's my North Star, my person I go to when I need assistance. Likewise, my supervisor in my master's degree program, Rob Yeck, he's currently at the University of at the Ohio State University as he works in the Buckeye Leadership Fellows program. I believe he's the director there now. But he challenged me in so many ways. I grew up in a very small town in Florida, and it was not a very diverse town. So moving to Columbus was really my first experience with people who are different from me. And I grew up in an Italian American family, so I think we had a little bit of diversity, but more than that was just eye-opening in Columbus. And having someone be there with me through some of the challenging parts of navigating those waters and becoming a productive and positive citizen of the world through my experience in Columbus. I really owe a lot to Rob. I think he really made me a better person, and he continues to impact students' lives tremendously. He's a wonderful, wonderful man. If you haven't met him yet, go visit him and tell him I said hi.
It's nice how like sometimes you can meet someone a good few years ago and they can still have an impact now. You can still have connections, even though it might not be within the discipline that you're in, that you can always just talk about life and stuff. There's always connections that way, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I will say one last shout out to Dr. Turner and Dr. Pastore within the sport management program. I mentioned before that I was a professional ballet dancer, and so when I came to Ohio State and I was in the sports management program, completely forgot it for a second. I really didn't feel like I belonged very much. I was like, I'm a ballet dancer and a rec sports person. I'm not an athlete, but they really helped me to like feel at home and feel proud of my past career and recognize myself as an athlete. That was a really empowering time for me. So I do really appreciate them both.
I think Yeah, I can. And I think as well, regardless what sport you do, or like you said, you do ballet, like the professors always kind of reassure and show that you can be like very sporty and talented in ballet like yourself, but also have an amazing career outside of sports. So it's really nice to see the balance that you was able to transfer as well.
Yeah, thanks.
Cool. So you come into contact with you used to come into contact in person, but now virtually with so many people each day, and dealing with a combination of like happy customers and unhappy customers. How do you maintain your professional conduct?
Yeah, I think it all comes back to empathy. I have a really good understanding of what our policies are, but also that
Mm-hmm.
our policies are put in place as more of a guideline, a rubric for us to be able to make sound decisions that are able to, further our mission and serve our customers well. So
Mm-hmm.
I always take an opportunity to hear out the customers so that, of course, so that they can get whatever it is off their chest, whether it's happy or sad or angry or frustrated, and then try to work with them from there. So really listening to what is the problem that they have and how we can solve it most effectively. And sometimes that does wear on you.
Mm-hmm.
So, taking time for yourself when you can. My phone is ringing a lot, so that I have it transferred from my office to my cell phone. So it's a constant grind right now. But remembering to keep in mind why we're in this field. I am in membership services because I want to be able to help people find their way on their
Mm-hmm.
journey to lifelong well-being. So just keeping that at the focus and the forefront of everything that we do, every interaction we have with our customer, really helps to keep it in check. And if it gets to a point where we have a really challenging situation, empathizing, letting them know that we hear you, stating clearly what we can do, trying to find some sort of service recovery, and if they need time to think about it, putting it on pause and welcoming them to come back to the conversation later. Sometimes giving some time and thought to it can help, but it's really all about just trying to provide the best customer service we can at this time.
And I think an important thing that you just mentioned is that saying what you can do, because a lot of the time some customer service workers might just say what the customer wants to hear as opposed to what they can really realistically do. So the fact that you said that you listen, you process what they've said, and then see what realistic outcomes that you can provide for them, I think that's a lot. Even though sometimes it's not the answer you want to hear, it's the answer that's required for that time, which is really good.
Yeah. Thanks.
So in terms of you as a woman in the result and the promotion that you've got, what are some of the opportunities that you've seen from that?
Oh, wow. Hmm.
Or challenges?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. So women in recreation, I think there have been some positive changes. A lot more women are speaking up about the challenges that they have experienced in their roles. So it's been very hopeful and helpful for me to hear and have that support. So it's made me braver and show up more in the role that I'm in the spaces I'm in, so that I can support and mentor other females in the field. Other opportunities it's given me, the promotion and the fact that I am really the only membership services professional within our department. I am, for as much as my not wanting to say it, I am the expert in this field for our department. So
you can say that.
I do have, yeah, right, reminding myself that, yeah, that's allowed to say. I do have a pretty big seat at the table. So learning from other leaders in the field that are female to be brave and to have confidence in that role so that I can make those expert suggestions and, and speak on behalf of that part of our department. It's been a challenge and a really great opportunity. I'm starting to come into it more. Obviously, more work to be done every day, but it is wonderful to have the opportunity to be able to voice that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you said, and I'm excited for you to continue past this coronavirus, which is great. So, in terms of you choosing Ohio State to pursue your master's degree, why did you choose Ohio?
Oh, well, yeah, as a native Floridian, I don't think I ever thought, I'm going to move to the Midwest. So yeah, I know like my family was like, what are you doing? But I had heard from other leaders within our department about how wonderful the program was. The collegiate recreation program at Ohio State is one of the oldest in the country. The leadership there has always been phenomenal. And I had I think it was like an hour-long conversation. AirPods are fun. With Rob Yeck, who was to be my supervisor, and we just like meshed really well together, and I knew I really wanted to work with this person. And I heard great things about the master's degree program from the students in the program as well. So I mean, it really, there were no red flags. Like once I had decided on it, it was like Ohio State all the way. I had to be talked into applying elsewhere because that's all I wanted.
Awesome.
My time in Columbus was phenomenal. I loved every minute of it.
Oh, that's good. It's always when you go to like college or university, there's just like these lifelong memories that you just hold. Like even from my undergraduate degree, I've still got some of those.
Yeah.
So do you have any like memories that you kind of hold from the program? It can be good or bad, funny or we don't want sad every day.
Well, I cherish my cohort. As a graduate administrative associate, there were 14 of us just from rec sports, and the majority of us were in the sport management program. So we were already very close at work, but to have them also in our grad program was really great. Those classes were always so fun. The smaller, I know, granted, it was a big change for me going from, undergrad to graduate school. You have the larger lecture style classes, and then you're in a room with 20 people and having very intense discussions every day. So that was wonderful. But the people in my cohort were great. Even students from outside of recreational sports, it was wonderful to hear the experiences of other students working in athletics and various other areas of student success within the university. And then our professors were like family. They were so sweet and so kind. I remember Dr. Turner would invite us to a barbecue at his house at the end of the year. We have a great picture from that. So those are some memories I cherish a lot.
And in terms of incoming graduate students, how can they get involved with like the membership service positions, and any advice that you'd give those guys?
Oh, sure. So incoming graduate students, really just learning. I think membership services is kind of at the hub of recreational sports. So we have some touch points with every program area. So at some point we do work with all of the graduate students. So I would say, come and speak with the membership professionals about membership services, not particularly from the lens of your specific program area, but trying to have a more holistic understanding of what and why membership services exist. And honestly, I think the more that you can be involved with it, the more opportunities will open up for you, because membership services is really diverse across the collegiate recreation world. You have membership and marketing, membership and technology, membership and facilities. So it will really just help to add depth to your position and broaden those opportunities in the future.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well, like even though you do membership within like the recreational sporting department, it's very transferable because you're still working with customers, still trying to maintain that professional conduct. So I guess it's that advice is pretty sound.
Thank you.
And then in terms of this COVID-19 pandemic and the current graduates who are looking for jobs, how would you advise them, or how do you think the market is going to be affected from this post-COVID?
It's going to be really challenging. I think most universities have had to go on hiring freezes, which have been really challenging, especially for our new graduates. So if they're able to find part-time work or even short-term positions, internships, program specialist positions, using this time as an opportunity to continue to add depth to their positions and their resumes, really. The more experiences they can gather, the better. And the more that they stay involved and stay plugged into what's happening, I think it's going to be really helpful for them. Even using this time as a professional development opportunity, take those webinars, take online classes to further your skill development. And then hopefully very soon the freezes will lift and there will be ample opportunities for hiring in the future.
And just like you said with the webinars and how technology's evolved, where although we're not in contact with each other, we can still communicate, you can still learn, have like interviews like what we're doing today. So definitely stay engaged is a good one.
Yeah, technology has really saved us. I think it's been really huge.
Yeah. And then the last question that I had, well, the last question before the fun questions, what role do you see membership service coordinators and recreational health and fitness as a whole playing to further the conversation in terms of making positive changes when it comes to race and equality?
Yeah, gosh, I think it's a big responsibility because we're really the ambassadors for the program and the ambassadors for the customers. So we serve as kind of the mediator, the in-between. We have both sides, both perspectives. So it's our responsibility to hear and to really listen to our members and all members and provide them with the services that they are looking for and make the changes that are going to make their experiences more enriched. So I think we have a huge responsibility. I think membership coordinators should be very active in any diversity, inclusion, or equity divisions within or committees within their department or their divisions at the university. Get involved, be a part of those conversations, because you can speak to what the customers are telling you. Don't take any suggestion or anonymous feedback lightly. Bring it to the table. Make sure the right people get eyes on it, and have those discussions. And sometimes they're hard, and sometimes they're going to be really challenging. It's going to make you uncomfortable. But one thing that Rob told me once was that I can do awkward. I have a very quirky temperament, but like that is a skill that I've learned to really own and develop. That I can exist in uncomfortable situations and make it better. So I think that's a big part of the responsibility that we have. So it's all to make the world a better place.
And especially how you mentioned being able to conduct yourself when it's those kind of awkward or maybe offsetting type conversations, especially it's important for like people like yourself to have those really good skills to kind of make it soften the shell kind of. So good on you, good job, thank you. So that concludes the more serious questions. I have two fun questions for you to answer today. The first one being, if you could be an animal, what animal would you be and why?
Oh gosh. Well, I have my little puppy here, so it's I don't know if you can see her on camera. Say hi.
Hey.
She's like, whoa, what happened? Hi. So probably a dog. Because they're happy most of the time. And I strive to have a positive outlook on everything. Everything that we experience, I believe positivity can help improve situations. It's definitely not what's the word? It's not a magic wand. It doesn't fix everything. Just saying be positive doesn't always fix everything, but I think that it can really change your life to have a positive perspective. So trying to be a happy little dog probably would be my choice.
Cool. And then the last question is, if you weren't working in the job role that you do have, what would you do? And more specifically, in terms of your ballet, how did you get into that, and like how did you find it?
Oh wow. So how I found ballet? Whew, I was 9, so I think I was a little older for a ballet dancer when I started. I did, oh gosh, I feel like my parents signed me up for every sport, every extracurricular, and I gave it about 2 weeks and I would be like, I'm not into this. I don't want to do it. But ballet just stuck. And I danced for 15 years, and I loved every minute of it. It was a very, very hard career, and there are not too many dancers that get to the level of a really successful professional. So it was a wonderful career and I loved it. And I'm proud of what I did. But I have loved this career even more because I've been able to, I feel like, affect more positive change. I think I rambled a little bit. You were asking what would I be doing if I wasn't in this position. So before I found rec sports, I went back to college to study English and specifically British literature.
Literature, yeah.
I love Shakespeare. So I would probably be either working in a publishing house or for I wanted to work in journalism as well. So maybe for an online media company.
Oh, cool. That's pretty exciting. And it's nice that you have such a diverse, like, interests.
Thank you.
Which is cool. Cool. Well, that concludes the interview for us today. Thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it. And thank you to everyone who tuned in to our sports management YouTube channel. Don't forget to stay tuned, subscribe, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Emma. Go Bucks.
Thank you. Yay! Thank you. Let me just press stop recording before I forget.